All right. All right. I think you need to stop share your screen.
Oh yeah, okay.
I should have checked that. We are live if I'm not wrong. I believe we are live. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's go. Hang on. Okay, so I hope everybody can see what I'm showing on screen. We've got some really early birds. In fact, they were earlier. I think the second person who logged in before my guest. I am gonna admit all of them right now. So welcome everyone to the live session on employer meet and greet. For those of you who are watching this on the social media pages, please type a hi, so that we know you're there. And a very good afternoon. Yeah. Hi everyone. Those of you in Zoom. So nice to see all of you here. I hope your weekend has been good. Mine has been fantastic. How has yours been? Yeah. Okay, I think we've got let me just do the deed here. I'm gonna just mute everyone first, but please, this session is really for you. So I would like all of you to, please unmute yourself and then share what you need to share in terms of the greeting. But of course, kick off by typing in a chat. All right, type in the chat. Shi Ting, how long is this seminar? It's about an hour. It's about an hour, thereabouts. So the key thing is I am very interested to have your questions answered. So please type in the chat the questions that you have for our panelists. All right, we are 2 minutes ahead of the ahead of time. So I do want to thank all of you for joining early because early birds do catch the worm, right? I think so. I don't know. I see Elizabeth like giving me this little like okay, so lame. Eileen, can you be more lame than that? Hi B. Good. Okay. So for those of us who attended the virtual seminar that was moderated by the Art of Career but put together by Workforce Singapore, you would have actually heard B speak in a speech. And also for those of you who have received the invite from us for today's event, I've also included the link to listen to B's speech. All right, so all those speeches are actually available on our Art of Career website. Okay, Art of Career YouTube channel. I have more participants in the waiting room. I'm gonna admit more. So as we're waiting for more, okay, so let's check. Let's see. Do we have anyone who is in? Okay, let's see. Anyone who is on Facebook or YouTube, please wave hi. Please say hi, just so we do not forget if you have a question. But please join us as well for those of us who are in Zoom. Hi. Okay, I see Shi Ting giving a emoji of an applause. Thank you so much. I think we're on the dot. Okay, let's get started. So welcome to a live session of the employer meet and greet. There are quite a few of you who have written to me that you may have to drop off, and there are even more who said that they are going to come join this session the moment your courses complete or your classes complete and you have your lunch break. And thank you for spending your lunch hour with us. I want to welcome our two guests, not just guests, but they are employers. They could be your future employers as well. So I want to welcome B. I call her B for short, and for reasons on why I call her B for short, just go watch the video, all right, on the Art of Career YouTube channel. So hi B.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's session.
Yep. And accompanying B is Elizabeth. Hi Elizabeth.
Hi, Eileen. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, I think we really have a huge crowd here. It's fantastic. Okay, so without further ado, I do want to also give a formal introduction to B. So B heads up the talent acquisition team for Asia Pacific in Bollore Logistics. I'll leave the formal introduction of the company to B. And also, I've included here, the write-up of her career background, and based on that you can see, all right, I'm just toggling and doing a few things at the same time, so do forgive me and bear with me while I admit more people into this session. All right, so here's the background of B. Please note that B looks after different business pillars, and she is in touch with your potential hiring managers in the business itself. And it is indeed a group of business. And even if she does not look after that particular business pillar, she would know who are her comrades who actually do that. All right, multitasking. So I'm going to move. All right, I'm entering and admitting more people here. Cool. Let's move on. Accompanying her is also Elizabeth, and Elizabeth has got a very interesting background here. Again, I've covered and given a formal introduction to Elizabeth in B's speech, which can be found in our YouTube channel, when she spoke at length about the hiring strategy there, and also about some tips that you can take away in terms of interacting with the talent acquisition team at Bollore Logistics. All right, very interesting background here, Elizabeth. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I want to formally introduce myself as well. So I'm Eileen, and I am an organizational psychologist. I do run an active coaching practice, and I am also the founder of The Art of Career. Okay, I'm just going to mute everyone. Now, I have held many different roles in my own career journey. I've taken on different roles as well. But one thing I'll say that has helped me a lot as I move from role to role, it's meeting up with potential hiring managers. The thing is this: you never wait until you need a job to start networking. This is a perfect forum. Now, I wished in my career journey there are forums such as this, intermediaries like myself. Now, you might be asking, why are you doing this? There must be a catch somewhere. Believe you me, there is no catch, all right? Because the Art of Career turns 5 this year, and I've decided I'm going to make it a year of giving, all right? So yes, it's going to be a year of giving. There are people who I mentor on the side, and there are also free events that we run, and this is one of them, all right? There's no kicker, there's nothing of that sort. So truly, truly, I am so appreciative of employers such as Bollore who have agreed to come forward. It's never easy to get HR, especially internal recruiters, to come forward. So this is such a prized opportunity. If you're not treasuring it, well, you're losing out, all right? So we have run many other events as well. We are also going to be running a public forum on I Am Remarkable, which is a Google certified program. And this is really meant for those who are feeling really down and out as you're going about your job search. Don't feel that way. Do join us. It's a very small group session to motivate you to appreciate yourself. Okay, there are many other materials that are available, but please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So a lot of tips are there, free tips, all right? So view at your leisure. But one thing I do advise, and that's also where, when you search the playlist virtual seminars, do look for B's speech, because she gave lots and lots of nuggets of gold on what you should do. And you might even say, why would any internal recruiter do that? Yeah, because this is the new world. This is the new normal. This is the new way of landing a job. It's all about social recruiting. So if you are still new to this concept, it's never too late. This is where you will start to adopt a different approach to landing your next job. So put the control of your next job in your hands. Okay. So as I continue on, please note, for those of you who are not on my mailing list, please click this link to add your email so that I have your permission to send you email. And for those of you who registered on Zoom, you would also receive some free tip sheet to prepare yourself better for sessions such as this. Okay, I am very mindful that some of you may have to drop off for certain calls, but then I also noticed some of you have made a lot of sacrifices as well, because you told me on the site that it is important and you want to be here. Now, here's the thing. I've also been asked this question all too often, and the question is, why should I come for this live session when I can watch your recording? Yeah, it's the same as, why do you want to go for a live concert when you can listen to the album? I think for those of us who attend concert, you will realize it's all about the experience. But more than that, we are talking about living and building your brand. And it's all about you building your brand, all right? The landscape for employment has changed, and it will change. You will find a lot more intermediaries, coming out to pair the employers and potential employees as well. All right, I have my list of questions. I thought I'd let you see here, but more importantly, you have your list of questions. So do type in the chat. Your questions have more priority than my questions. All right, those are just frequently asked questions. I'm going to pass the floor to our employers. All right, to B, and B, please walk through and give us another introduction of yourself. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just going to stop share.
All right, so I am going to screen share then. Just 1 second. Let me know if you can see my slide.
Very nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not sure how long I have to speak, maybe 20, 30 minutes, but I'm not going to go through, in too much detail. I want to spend a little bit more time answering all your questions, which is exactly what this live session is for. But definitely, I want to talk a little bit about Bollore Logistics, and also for myself, I have been in the talent acquisition space for 10 years. So some of you may have read, attended last week's session or read my bio earlier on. I spent the first 4 years as an external headhunter, and then the last 6 years as a talent acquisition position in an in-house role. So I am working with Bollore Logistics for the second year right now. Definitely more to come, and I'm more than happy to share exactly what we're all about. So this all good with the screen. I'm just gonna move on. So the Bollore Group. So Bollore Logistics, we actually belong to a larger group of companies called Bollore Group. So the Bollore Group is actually a family-run business of almost 200 years, right? So to be exact, it's 199 this year. So next year, we're all going to celebrate our second century. So it's a real family business. It's currently managed by the 7th generation of the Bollore family. So we have 3 main businesses, one of which is Bollore Transport and Logistics, where I belong. And then we have Bollore Communications, or rather media, where some of our brands here may seem quite familiar to you, like Havas Group, Universal Music, or even for you gamers out there, Gameloft. And also we have Bollore Electricity Storage and Systems. So we also have shareholdings in several other brands, such as say Spotify, that a lot of us will know very well. Many, many more, but let's focus a little bit more on Bollore Logistics. So Bollore Logistics, we have 4 business units. We have Bollore Logistics, Bollore Ports, Bollore Railways, and Bollore Energy. But let's just focus on Bollore Logistics. I know, because we're a huge umbrella, we're just going down to exactly where we belong. So we are one of the world's top 10 freight forwarding logistics players. We have a huge turnover of slightly over 5 billion euros, and also we have a global footprint. So let's talk about, just spend maybe 1 minute on the footprint. So these are the 5 main regions that we have. So just take note, these figures are last year, right? So the numbers actually increased quite a fair bit. So the 5 regions we have the Americas, we have Europe, Africa, Middle East, South Asia, as well as Asia Pacific. So for myself, I manage the Asia Pacific TA function over here. And let's take a look at Asia Pacific. So Last year, we have just about 5,000 staff in Asia Pacific. This year, we have 6,000 altogether. So we manage 19 countries altogether in Asia Pacific. So the reason why I want to mention all these Asia Pacific countries is because all these 19 countries, they have a functional reporting to the regional office in Singapore where I sit. Right, so we have Southeast Asia, there's easily 8-9 countries and a couple of other entities and JVs. We also have North Asia, which is Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and then we have Singapore entity on its own, which I'm going to go in a little bit more detail later. We have Greater China as well as Pacific, which is Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. So I mentioned a little bit about Singapore entity. So just to confuse you just a little bit further, in Singapore, we have 5 offices, right? So 2 of which are the east side of Singapore, close to the airport, called Air Freight, right? And then 2 at the west side of Singapore, we call them Blue Hub and Green Hub. And across Singapore, 14 warehouses. So all these belong to Singapore entity, right? Singapore entity is apparently the largest entity we have in Asia Pacific, housing about 1,600 employees. Right, so now the one other missing office is the regional office where I sit at Clarke Quay. Right, so this is the regional office that we all do Asia Pacific work. A little bit smaller, actually a lot smaller, just about 150 headcount. Right, so it's a very full-fledged office of all your front office people, which is your commercial sales, key accounts, marketing, and then your middle office where everything happens, supply chain operations, air freight, sea freight, with your back office, which is HR, finance, legal, IT. So all together, 150 of us, half of us in the office as of this week. So that is what's going on. And a little bit about the verticals of our business. So this is the very exciting piece. Many of you, if you have done some research, you would know that Bollore Logistics, we are very good in certain verticals. So for example, luxury retail and retail consumer goods is our biggest vertical. So we have about maybe close to 30% of our business coming from this sector. We are also very strong in healthcare, aid and relief, industries, manufacturing, and also aerospace and high-tech industries. All right, so I can go on this one for 2 more hours, but we don't have that kind of time. Maybe the next session.
Wow, 2 more hours. You really know the business so well. I just want to interject to say that not many HR actually know the business well. I really love the way you explain the business because you make it so exciting.
Because it is very exciting, right? So it's always good to be a very close business partner, even as HR, to
Yeah,
just
exactly.
don't know exactly what you're talking about with the candidates, right? And because being on the face of the company, of course you have to know a thing or two. And plus, to me, this industry is very sexy. So definitely it's something that I want to study, a little bit more and to be able to share better. So remember, I talk about our Singapore entity, right? So the good news is we are certified Great Place to Work. Just late last year until this year. So what the Singapore entity did was, so it's a little bit different from the regional office, but we're all based in Singapore, right? So to be granted a Great Place to Work, they actually have to let all 1,600 employees take a survey, right? Every single one of them. And then they are heavily audited and all these things happening. It took them, I think, a couple of months to get all these sorted. So they are awarded Great Place to Work. We are also awarded a Great Place to Learn, right? So it's a very interesting thing we did over here, and it's super good for employer branding as well. And if you were just to compare any other typical company, it's just about 53% of the employees who think that Bollore is a good place to work. But for us, it's a very proud 65%. And if you look at all these percentages over here, it's all very, very high, right? So we can tell that the employees are generally very happy here. And with all the missing percentages, we are actually working on it to make sure the next time we get awarded with this again, the percentage actually goes up. Right, so there's a lot of things we do to keep our talent. So it's not just attracting talent. Attracting talent is very, very important, but how do you develop the talent and keep the talent? Right, you really want to understand the full picture. This is the whole talent management, process that we are doing. So hopefully next year, all these numbers here increase. I'm not very happy with 65. I think we can do 95. So
95, industry standard is 80, Wow, be
We can
ambitious.
pass that. We can pass industry standard. And of course,
Wow.
in Singapore, we pilot everything in Singapore, right? Because Singapore is a very good place, to start, for business hubs and all. So without further ado, I want to show you a quick 3-minute video on how we actually built Blue Hub and just a little bit about the business. And that's in the next slide over here. Let's go. Can hear it.
Give us a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear.
Evolving from a paper manufacturer to a global conglomerate, innovation is engraved in our DNA. Founded in 1822, the Bollore Group is one of the 500 largest companies in the world. Over the years, the group expanded globally, holding strong positions in transport and logistics, media and communication, and electric storage. In 1983, Bollore Logistics Singapore is established. We pioneered many firsts in innovation and sustainability, starting with our first green warehouse, hybrid shuttle service for last-mile delivery, and co-investment for automation. And in 2019, we embarked on another exciting journey, Blue Hub, a next-generation warehouse. Over 500 days to construct, the 50,000 square meters building houses over 300 employees. Combining sustainability and innovation, Blue Hub is tomorrow's hub, today. The modern warehouse focuses on achieving a balance between 3 main pillars: sustainability, innovation, and employee centricity. Apart from Green Mark Platinum and a potential LEED Gold certification, Blue Hub is the first project in Asia to be biodiversity certified, setting a new benchmark for sustainable warehouse design. The smart warehouse uses IoT devices to maximize energy and workplace efficiency. Blue Hub is also home to a whole load of innovation. When it comes to automation, the fully centralized multi-shuttle system sees significant improvement in space optimization compared to traditional shelving. Integrated with goods-to-person system, picking activities guarantees fulfillment accuracy and a 4 times jump in productivity. Tallest in Asia, the spiral veyor connects all levels of the warehouse seamlessly, improving work and energy efficiency by 87%. Championing co-innovation and talent development, the Innovation Center, B-Lab, provides an ecosystem for research and cross-sector collaboration. It aims to accelerate the digitization of the supply chain by supporting all innovation initiatives, from ideation to market launch. B-Lab also works with local academia to nurture young minds on creative thinking and the creation of smart logistics solutions. We believe our employees are the heart of our organization. We are committed to our values to nurture workplace diversity, such as integrating people with disabilities into the workforce. Employee centricity is a big part of Blue Hub, offering plenty of green space for relaxation and a gym to promote healthy lifestyle. Technology is at the heart of logistics performance, but it is the entrepreneurial spirit and the individual commitment of our employees that make the difference. And this is what we call people-powered innovation.
I really love the building there. If you travel to the west, you see this humongous, gigantic building, standalone building, and you see Bollore words right on top. And even though it's kind of in like a forgotten land part or part of Singapore, where it's like it looks a bit rural, but the moment you set foot into the office, I'm actually like transformed into another world. It's so modern. It's so
Yes,
lovely.
it is. You've been to the Blue Hub a couple of times, right?
A couple of times, yeah.
It just got built. It's just our newest edition. Built in 2019. We invested about 100 million Sing to build, one of the most iconic and sustainable buildings in Singapore. So if any one of you, drive past there, do take a look. And if any one of you here, is fortunate enough to be based there, let's just say I don't even really want to leave the building once I enter it, right?
Yes.
Everything you see over there is real. We have the B Lab is there, the spiral veyor is there. It's a really state-of-the-art technology that we have. We have all these robotic arms here and there. So it's very, very cool. It's basically the nicest warehouse I ever seen. Right, so it's really a eye opener. So the next section is pretty much the most important, the one we want to talk about. So I also want to emphasize a little bit. We will be talking a little bit about the current and potential vacancies. Right, I don't want to just spend time on what we are hiring right now, but potentially, it's something that we want to do, because here at Bollore Logistics we hire for the future. Right, and the talent acquisition team, we do a lot of talent pipelining. So that doesn't mean that you can only apply or approach us when there's an open vacancy, right? So in last week's session, I say be in my face, right? If you really want to work for Bollore Logistics, be in my face. Tell me what you want to do. Help me remember you. And once there's a position that I think suits your skills, we can connect immediately, right? So that will be a lot quicker as well. So just to run through where you can find our jobs, we typically advertise it in 3 places, right? For more of your middle and senior level roles, we post on LinkedIn. So if you just go on LinkedIn, click on jobs and type Bollore Logistics Singapore, you will see all the roles over there, right? You can even tell whether it's from the regional office or it's in my Singapore entity, because we're all based in Singapore. Job Street is typically a little bit more junior to mid-level type of roles over there, and almost all the roles are in my careers future, because that is a requirement, right? So anytime you want to see what we have over there, just go straight there. So the next slide is something that probably all of you are waiting for. The roles that we have and potentially have. So in fact, some of the roles over here is what we require right now. Most of the roles over here that I've stated in the front office, middle office, and back office, these are the roles we constantly hire, right? So if, say, for example, you are a BD manager, you like to do key accounts, or you're a project manager, you're customer service, you do not need to see an open vacancy to come to us. Right, just come to us, because I love to keep a lot of our candidates in my magic box. Right?
Wow, I really have to stop you there, B. I just love that last sentence or last 2 sentences, because the hiring team that I see in most organizations have treated their job more like a job, and then I remember when it comes to networking, a lot of them are kind of resisting that, because they are thinking, it's already 5 o'clock, why would I want to continue working? But what you just said is so different. I don't know if everybody caught that.
I have a life, by the way. I work, I also play. But I think, in terms of talent acquisition, it's no longer like how it used to work, right? It's not, we're not just filling roles, filling vacancies. We are actually really partnering the business to find the right talent for the business, and to be ready for what the future of the business is, right? So let's talk a little bit about the roles. I will explain the more front office side of things. So all these roles that you see here, they are not specific to the regional office where I sit or Singapore entity, right? Some are regional, some are entity, some are Singapore entity, but it's all based in Singapore, okay?
Yeah.
So for front office people, all your commercial people. So the 2 main roles that we are always hiring, in fact, my Singapore entity now, they are looking for business development managers, right? So BD people is basically sales, right? You need experience in sales or BD, definitely in the freight forwarding industry, right? Because when you're doing sales, you do need that kind of industry knowledge. However, we have actually hired people without them having the freight forwarding experience before. But having the industry experience just helps you be a bit quicker, right, to clinch all your sales and deals. So these are the things we're looking for in different type of verticals. So like I said, we are very strong in luxury retail, fashion, cosmetics, healthcare, pharmaceutical, aerospace, as well as high tech. So when it comes to verticals, it's good if you come from the same one. But for us, it doesn't really matter, right? A good salesperson is a good salesperson, right? You can do retail, vertical, and then you can jump into, healthcare vertical. But healthcare is just a little bit different because, of the temperature, of all these freight forwarding issues. But these are all the things that can be learned, right? So for key account manager, it's pretty much similar as well. So BD is more of a hunter role, and key account manager is more of a farmer role, right? But nothing stopping you from, really building more existing sales with the same customers. So that is, these two roles are the most commonly open roles in the front office for all our 5 offices in Singapore. Now, the middle office is very exciting because middle office is where everything happens, right? All your supply chain. I mean, we are a supply chain company. We provide supply chain solutions. So supply chain is the heart and core of the company, right? So everything happens there. Project management, it can be anything from like a WMS or even, a TMS. So there's transportation management system, right? Which we use CargoWise One. So any one of you here who is familiar with CargoWise One, definitely get in touch with me. We are always looking for people, who are familiar with CargoWise One. And also, for WMS project management as well, even tender management, there's all projects involved, right? So when you talk about project management, it's actually very large, very generic scope, right? Because you have to, understand the customer's needs requirement, and then you come back, and design a supply chain solution or whatever solution that could be. And then you do all your UAT, your testing, implementation, deployment, and then customer hypercare, aftercare. These are all your end-to-end project management roles, right? It would be good if you are, Agile or Scrum Master certified, but that's really not super needed. But if you have that, it only helps you, right, to be more successful at a quicker pace. So that is a project management part that we always kind of need. Always the logistics solutions engineer. In the whole of Asia Pacific, we need this sort of talent, right? Because it's a very special type of role where, it involves data analytics, right? It involves some continuous improvement or process improvement, like, if you are, Lean Six Sigma, certified, that would be great, for something like this. And even when it comes to process re-engineering, it could be warehouse re-engineering. Sometimes this role can be quite client-facing as well. So it's a mishmash of a lot of things for this whole logistics solutions engineer role, and it's very much needed in my Singapore entity. Sometimes in my regional office, and by and large, the whole of Asia Pacific, they're always screaming for talents like that. So maybe post-COVID, when it's safer to travel, if one of you, interested in this role with all these necessary skill sets, if you want to work, in either of the 19 countries, let me know, right? Definitely, we are always looking for people in this space. Now, last but not least, which is the back office. So like I said, we have your HR, finance, legal, IT, right? So the WMS support, it's reporting to my MIS team, so Management Information System. And these are the people who are familiar with warehouse management system, in short, WMS. So WMS we are using at Bollore Logistics is called Manhattan, right? A lot of people, some people use Manhattan, some they don't. But for us, it's not a deal breaker if you do not have any experience in Manhattan, because like what we always believe, a WMS is a WMS, right? All the philosophy is the same. It's just interface that's a little bit different, and you can pick that up, right? Once you know how to use WMS, you know how to implement it. It doesn't matter whether you are using product A, B, or product Manhattan, right? So that is completely fine with us, and we are constantly, looking out for talents like that. And for customer service, very much mainly for my Singapore entity. They have a customer service team, and because our business is good, right? So it is growing. When the business is growing, the front office grows, the middle office grows. So naturally, the back office, usually the customer service team will need to grow as well, because we need to look after, all our top, 10 and top to 25, customers, very, very demanding customers, and we only want to give them the best. So customer service is a team that is constantly looking out as well. So any one of you here, who is strong in customer service will be good. It will be good if you have some air freight, sea freight experience. That means coming, from a similar industry. But then again, that is not key. Right? If you have that, perfect. It's not a must have. I think it would be a very good to have. And again, CargoWise One is always an added advantage with all the roles we have over here. So now the last but not least, I really want to emphasize on our talent model. So last week I talked about it before. Every time we hire, we try to find people who are in this blue box over here, which is a desired talent model, which you are consistent with the skills and knowledge, as well as with our values. right? So this is where you're the top right quadrant over here. But also increasingly, we are looking into this quadrant, which is what we like to call the potential quadrant. So you might not have all the necessary skills and knowledge to perform in the job. Say, for example, Manhattan, you don't have that, right, for WMS, but you are consistent with values and you do some project management before, so at least you have some idea of how to run a project, but just not so much on the technical system part, right? But you know how to use WMS, you just do not know Manhattan, so you will fall under this potential quadrant over here, which we will definitely consider, because this is something that can be learned, it can be taught. Right. So the bottom line is, don't be afraid to reach out. Even if you feel like, there isn't a role that is suitable for you right now that you can find anywhere on LinkedIn or JobStreet or wherever that is, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always on LinkedIn, more so than Facebook and anything else. Also, my Singapore entity, we have a talent acquisition team over there as well. Feel free to reach out to them. We're always happy, to have a discussion with or without a vacancy.
Wow, that is so powerful. I don't know. I mean, I really find that so powerful because most of the time people get very transactional, right? Because when you reach out to them and they first look at your LinkedIn profile and they'll say, we are not hiring actually. So, right? And then that's the end of story. But I rarely come across a talent acquisition manager or professional who understand about pipeline building, right? And people tend to be very protective of their talent because there's always two schools of thought. If you're so good in what you do, I'll keep you there. And why should I move you, right? Because if I move you, it's going to disrupt me. Yeah. Okay, we have a question. The question is, what is the culture like?
In Bollore Logistics?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe Elizabeth, you want to take that?
Sure. Culture-wise, I think I really enjoy honestly, and I find quite rare about companies in Singapore that I find in Bollore is that everyone is very open to your questions and your thoughts. I have never, left the meeting and felt like I was not heard because I was speaking with someone from, let's say, senior management role. So no matter kind of how junior you are, people are interested in hearing what you feel and think about a situation. And I think that's quite rare. We are very open to questions and people are generally very patient in explaining and helping you understand what they do. And I would say that every kind of hiring manager that I've come across so far are really very passionate about their function. They can really, like, if you don't talk to you for 2 hours about something that they do, and they just find it so fascinating and they want you to also find it fascinating. So just the passion that people have for their functions, I think is quite good. It's quite rare to see that, I think.
I can attest to that because I meet many different managers. I meet many different, either first-time managers or middle level managers as well. And I've also met your recent graduate hire or something like that. And they have a lot. Everybody has something to say. So fantastic. Yeah, the people there that I've met over the years, by the way, it's not like one chance meeting, are really passionate about the job. Ask them one question and then they'll talk about, for example, luxury goods. They'll tell you story about Gucci is sending this set of okay, I better not say. I'll just keep it as that. It's really interesting listening to how they manage the transfer of goods for their luxury clients. Whoa. Okay, there is also, I think someone was asking about whether you've got roles in administration, and also over the weekend I actually had a text asking me whether there are roles in finance as well.
So administration and finance, now in the regional office, no, right? In the Singapore entity, perhaps, but I, on top of my mind, I don't think we have them. But then again, feel free to reach out, right? I mean, if you're looking for something finance related, reach out to me, reach out to the Singapore entity. We really want to have, good talent pipeline. So park yourself there, like what I always say, right? Park yourself there. And then when there's an opening, park it in, right? So, whether we have it or not, feel free to I wouldn't say send your application, but send your expression of interest, right? I do get expression of interest every other day in my inbox, and I speak with most of the candidates as well. And through this talent pipelining, we actually place a lot of people, and which is why sometimes our recruitment process can be very quick because we already have candidates ready, right, for the role. So it's not like going out there to source from scratch again. So please reach out. I can emphasize another 5 million times. Reach out. Because I think it also shows a lot of your motivation as well.
Okay, there's another question from Shirley Chua, and Shirley actually took an effort to introduce herself formally in the chat. So please take note of Shirley. Okay, I think she asked, all right, I'm just going to admit more people. Shirley actually asked a question: are there specific paper qualifications required for each role that you're hiring for?
Depending on what kind of role, I would say, if we are looking for a data scientist, obviously you need to have some, data analytics, type of paper qualifications, right? But it really depends on what kind of position. I mean, if we talk about business development, key accounts,
corporate functions, right?
Corporate functions, fine. Like, unless finance, then you probably need like an ACCA or at least finance graduate. Right? So paper qualifications is not the first thing I look at if the position doesn't really require. Right. So even for myself, I mean, I don't study HR, but here I am. So it's not very, very important. So it's always transferable skills. I've even, I think we probably even hired people in some other space that never studied the same thing, right? But experience in this field for a few years, and I think that's more valuable than just paper qualification.
Very nice. I think, I see a comment from Colin as well. Hi, Colin. I think, Colin, you will remember me saying, if you're good in sales, you can sell ice to Eskimo. Hi. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Thanks for inviting.
So remember, so I think, Colin, you can reach out to B, because B is really, so unique from the industry, and I'm so happy that she has this very open mindset, because it's not based on current openings, future openings as well, which means she takes an interest to know you. So there's lots of opportunities there. Yay. There's also a comment from Lilian, and she says that she works with clients in both the airline and hotels across the region. Would that be something really relevant? And her skill sets includes implementation, account management, project management, and she's interested to explore possibilities. So do look out for Lilian King, a very interesting name. Okay, so which is the last name? Okay. I tend to fumble with that. That's why I end up just calling B.
My last name is King.
Last name is King. Okay, nice one, Lilian. Welcome. Okay, what other questions do we have? What's the daily challenges that employee face in their role? That's another question, follow-on question from Anthony. That's a bit broad, Anthony. What do you mean daily challenges?
I mean, I can share a little bit about,
yes.
I joined in the, this is like just for myself.
Yep.
I joined kind of in the midst of COVID. So everybody was already working from home at that point in time. So I would say that, joining at this very special point in the history of Singapore is a little bit challenging in terms of getting to know people, because you've never met them face to face. And it's a whole new organization, and for myself, actually, it's a whole new industry transition as well. So I really had a lot of things to pick up and a lot of things to learn before I could really perform well at my job. So all the things I had to learn were do video calls with all the different hiring managers and stuff like that. And I mean, everyone has been very nice, but I haven't met most of them in real life yet. So I am really looking forward to kind of having that more personal kind of face-to-face interaction as we move on, hopefully.
Yeah, it's amazing, seeing B bring on Elizabeth with Elizabeth different background is such a proof, of concept. Not only proof of concept, she really walked the talk. So I like people like that. So I think for any organization that all youth professionals choose to join, just remember it goes beyond just the monetary term, because you want to see the journey ahead. It's not just one stop, right? And it matters to find people with the same kind of mantra as well in terms of hiring. Okay, there are more questions there. So, okay, it's nice to see Anthony saying that he's interested in PM role but open to other roles in digital. We have a question from Colin. He says, what would you say is the state or status of digital transformation of your org or even HR? What's the current next digital transformation project that you're embarking on, if it's okay to share?
I can share whatever I know, and I'm a little bit of a digital transformation nerd as well, so I can go on for 2 hours. I'm just trying to, wrap it up and speak a little bit. So we do have a digital and innovation transformation team that we work with, and so this team will specifically, work with different functions, right, in terms of how to improve the efficiency of a lot of things. We also have a RPA team that actually works on a lot of machine learning, teaching the machine how to do a human work. We also, in terms of HR, we are also moving towards a more digitalized type of role, right? So it's not really like your calculator, numbers for payroll, or even for talent acquisition. A lot of things are very digitalized. We actually venturing into a lot of video interviews, like on-demand video. We do a lot of things to make sure that we are making use of our time more broadly on strategic methods. Right. So, for example, if I don't free up my time to do all the very mundane work, where do I find time to speak with potential, candidates like yourself and do the pipelining? Right. So this whole digital transformation, it's happening as we speak now as well. It happened before, and it's going to be a continuous thing that in Bollore Logistics we do, because one of the biggest one of our values is innovation. Right? Agility and innovation. And this is something we talk about day in, day out. Even Blue Hub, we have a B lab, we have an innovation lab. So we are huge on this, and we cannot afford to not do this. And this is something that we will continuously invest to make sure that we get everyone and all the processes up to speed, to be a little bit more competitive, I guess.
Very, very much. Yeah, very much. So there is also so thanks for that, B. There's also another question which I anticipated, because almost every session I'll get that question. So thank you so much, Kwok Heng Soo, for asking that question. Do you take in mid-career switchers? My apologies there, for junior roles.
I think that's even easier, isn't it? I mean, mid-year, career switches when you have maybe 10, 20 years experience, it's a little bit harder for you to switch, because harder for you, not really the company. Because the company just need to teach you the right things, the industry and all, it's fine. But because you came with a set of years and skills that you're used to, so maybe a little bit harder for you. But I think for junior people, that's easy, isn't it? I mean, if you have 1 year experience or 2 years experience, you switch to something completely new. And plus, in terms of if you want to be a little bit more realistic in terms of the financials, it's not going to be too much of a pinch, right? If you move when you're very junior, right? Because you wouldn't really see too much of a difference, But if you have been, say, for example, a salesperson for 20 years and suddenly you want to do HR, I think definitely. But will you, be used to the idea, and also, what kind of salary will you be demanding for, right? To jump into a completely different space, after so many years of working experience. So these are all the things that I would, always advise people who want to, switch their career, right? After 10, 20 years experience, mid-term. So it's something that you really need to think through quite a fair bit. But yes, to answer your question, for junior candidates, even easier.
Okay, I want to thank Kim Long Chong for expressing his dream job, logistic executive. So take note of him. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Okay, I thought what we could do, so please type your questions in the chat. I did mention, I think B mentioned RPA. I type in the chat RPA as well. There are a couple of comments there in the chat. I thought what better way to do than to take a look at the website where we can find Bollore's job advert. So if I log into my LinkedIn, all right, just gonna admit more people into the webinar here. Now you would see Bollore Transport and Logistics, and then there's also investment management. I tell you this, they have a group of businesses and they are really advancing a lot. And something which you can relate to for those of us who drive are the cars on the street, right? Blue SG, that's another company that's within their group as well. So which one should they go to, B, based on this?
Bollore Logistics.
So this one. This one,
Yeah.
logistics and supply chain, right? So if I click on that page, and there you go. Okay, so they've got quite a lot over here, and so all we need to do is to click on jobs. All right, so if we click on jobs, you should be able to see a list of roles here. I'm going to click on all jobs as well, just so that we can see more roles. Let me just take this out. Yeah. So are you able to, let me just stop share first and then share the right screen. So sorry. Let me share the right screen. Okay. Can you see all this? Can you see what I'm seeing on screen? So in order to see the roles that exist in Bollore Logistics, all you need to do is go to their LinkedIn page, because it's more comprehensive. Let's put it this way. If you listen carefully to what B said, in the beginning of her presentation, she already mentioned about the 3 job portals that you can look for openings. One is LinkedIn. The second one is Job Street. Am I right? Shoo! Okay, and the third one is My Careers Future, and she already, kind of differentiate the roles that you can find in each one of them, the type of roles that you can find in each one of them. I would say no price for guessing, just go to LinkedIn, all right? You won't miss a job opening that's available over there. And correct to say that I would think the first action anybody should take is to follow the company. Okay, and then of course you notice here I have this button, job alert off, for any one of you who is actively searching, or maybe not really even actively searching. Click this on. Of course I don't have this on. Yeah, so I can actually scroll through. Look at that, sustainability intern. So they've got a wide range as well. Senior lean analyst, human resource generalist. There's just so many and different levels. And I can tell you, if you know the leaders in Bollore Logistics, they are forward looking. They are always hungry for talent. And I know they invest in talent, right? In developing them and then moving them into roles as well. Definitely a very global organization with global best practices in store. Okay, so anything I should point out here, B or Elizabeth? So let's say they come here, and then there's always the easy apply where, one click you get your CV sent out as well. This is just made simple by LinkedIn. Yeah.
So I would say, although, usually the mid to senior roles will be over here at LinkedIn, it really depends, some of the roles we put on LinkedIn as well, right? Just to make sure that we cover, all of them. So you can see a few more junior positions like, the export officer right now. This is quite a entry level, very junior role. Also, we have some other internship roles that we post up here as well. So, for interns, we work with the schools. We also post it here just because, students, sometimes they want to source for their own internships, right? And where else do they look for, right? It has to be LinkedIn. And because we have, we really enjoy using LinkedIn, because it's one of the, best tools that we have invested in, right? So you see
Right.
most of them, at least from the regional office, it will definitely be there. For my Singapore
Right.
entity as well, a lot of roles will be up here, but also a lot of roles that will also be on Job Street, right? So that's where we are at. So feel free to go to all these job boards and check out our roles. We will have pretty much a lot of roles at any one point in time.
Yeah, this is so cool, right? I mean, it beats just sending a cold application and your application end up in a black hole, so to speak. Not everybody actually peruse everything, because look, every organization have got very different practices in store. Can I just ask a burning question on all your behalf, which is how current are all these job opportunities? Because there are some that are kept there perpetually. I mean, some, not your page.
Yeah. So some of the roles, even some of our roles here will be there for a long time, right? So when it comes to LinkedIn, the technical side of LinkedIn is anything that's in Singapore or the regional office will be there just for a month, right? So the longest that you ever see appear here is a month, unless it's a recurring role that we always constantly need. Then you see most of the time they're always there. But so for places like China and Hong Kong, because I recruit for the whole Asia Pacific, so if you see some other countries, they might be there a little bit longer than usual. So sometimes could be 3 months, sometimes could be 6 months, or never taken down, because it's the kind of role that they always need also, right? So if you
Love
want to know how long this role has been there, you can tell, some is 1 week ago, some is posted maybe 2 weeks ago, and then you see some are there for the longest time, but most likely these sort of roles are probably based in Greater China.
Okay, so I noticed you have this very interesting role here too. So naturally, you need to understand the language in order to interpret the role, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously, I'm not the one who posted this.
Yes. Although we can use Google Translate, but
Yes.
efficiency is the order of the day. Yes, of course, efficiency. But this is so interesting, and I like the fact that it's so open. You can reach out to you can put in your application, and they keep it current. Oh gosh, it takes a lot of effort to keep it current. But more importantly, we can use this as a means for us to make ourselves visible. So one point to note is, as you make yourself visible, please remember to make sure your LinkedIn is up to scratch, because you can basically get people's attention, but you need to make your whole account attractive as well, so that it is worthy of a look, or maybe a second look. Okay, there's a question here from Lilian, and she said, do you have any role that is under the SG United scheme?
We used to have, right now, no.
Okay.
Yeah, right now we don't have, because I think there is because to get into the SG United program, the role needs to be approved
Right.
by MOM, right? And sometimes it doesn't get approved for certain reasons, and we don't really know the reason, right? Sometimes it just doesn't get approved. So right now, no, we don't have specific roles in the regional office under SG United. But for my Singapore entity, yes, there's a couple of roles that are under SG United program. So when you want to check out whether these roles under SG United, when you see the advertisements, they will have this hashtag. So if you see the hashtag, in the tag to the role, then yes, it's under SG United.
Very nice.
I think that in Singapore, they actually hit the limit of the number of SG United roles. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer to get approved right now. So it's very difficult to be in the program, although sometimes it's going to be very useful. So we just got to queue up.
Yeah. Okay. Take a number, as they said.
And also from my understanding, for SG United program, I think the processing time for each role is very, very long compared to if we just do a direct kind of hiring.
Right.
So sometimes it's also harder for applicants. You have to wait like 3 months for all the approvals to be done before you can even be considered, and all that. We don't feel like could be the best kind of approach to take. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, and I did mention this in my podcast as well about emerging roles. So for professionals who have a bit of the logistic knowledge, or maybe you have a digital, kind of analysis, kind of background, this might be also an interesting role to combine industry knowledge, industry know-how with the technological skills that a lot of SG United programs are trying to impart to us as well. Okay, another burning question that I have, which is commonly asked, how long or how short is your typical selection process? How many rounds do they have to go through?
So it depends on how senior or junior the role is. Just say like a mid-level manager type of position. It's actually very quick. So the first round definitely with the talent acquisition team. And then the talent acquisition team will shortlist the candidates and send it to the hiring managers. And then hiring manager will do a interview, well, face-to-face or virtual, mostly virtual right now. And then there will be a final interview with the manager plus one, manager up. Really depends how many people, but we try to combine it together as much as possible, maybe like a panel. Right. Okay. So I would say, from TA to hiring manager to perhaps one more level, 3 rounds all together. If we pack it all nicely, 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks is very fast.
We try to. 2 weeks is fast.
Very fast.
But sometimes it depends on people's availability as well, right? Sometimes people on leave, or holiday. I would say 3 weeks is the norm over here.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing.
But plus all your approvals and all, you could go maybe 3 to 4 weeks max, but we rarely go above that.
I can tell you from my personal experience working with B, she is one person who is, who just takes action very quickly. She's super efficient. We've got a question from YouTube. I would just want to say hi to Petals. Hi. Bollore is a global organization, so you have just tuned in. Very, very nice there. I've got a question from Hesalon. If I pronounce your name wrongly, do forgive me, even though I did basic French, but I kind of returned it to the French tutor already. The question is just wondering if you got any roles available for current students. I thought I saw internship.
Oh, a lot.
A lot, right?
Yes. We have an internship program, so twice a year. So we hire interns on a 6-month basis. So Jan to June, July to December. So this is a full-time 6 months internship. So yes, a lot. So right now we're actually recruiting for the 2020 Jan interns.
Okay, and you're not restricted to only interns from Singapore, right?
No, definitely not. But then the Singapore regulations is a bit different now because of COVID-19. So previously, if you are not Singaporean or PR, you can only work 16 hours a week for internship under some student pass, right? Unless it's a credit-bearing internship from one of the approved schools in Singapore that you can do 6 months full-time. But things get a little bit complicated right now because some students are not in Singapore. They want to come back, in Jan. But it also depends on the whole COVID-19 situation. But yes, to answer your question, yes, we are looking for interns.
That's so cool. And I know that interns positions is not just restricted to Singapore, because I'm sure there are other officers that are also looking for interns as well. So truly global organization. Like I said, when I met their new hires, young hires, they are so enthused and then, enthusiastic, and, HR put in a lot of effort in their onboarding program as well. So first-hand experience, so happy, and I was so encouraged by what I see, because you don't see a lot of HR coming forward, being very people-oriented, because most of the time the work weighs them down. I'm not saying they are not, but most of the time, it's a question of 168 hours in a week. Where do you want to spend your time on? And I love it when HR, anyone in HR spend time on itself, which is human interaction. So very, very nice. Okay. So do we have any other questions coming up from anyone else? So question that I also get is maybe just one quick question. Are all these positions replacement hires, or some of it are also new positions?
I think there's a mixture. Definitely
Okay.
a mixture of replacement and new hires.
Okay. Very nice. All right. So again, everyone, please type in the chat if you've got any questions that you want to ask. I'm gonna just close this and then get back to this itself. Just want to say that what you really should be doing is connecting with Elizabeth and also B on LinkedIn, because that's the best bet. And also at the same time, do listen to my podcast, because I talk extensively about hidden opportunities in logistics, and what better way right now you're meeting a huge global employer in the logistics sector with an open mindset as well. And at Out of Career, we always bring employers with open mindset, because we really need that. Employers who actually walk the talk itself. Okay. So on that, just remember to log in to our YouTube channel. This is Eileen here. It's been such great pleasure to meet all of you, and I hope something good comes out of it. It's not be all and end all. In fact, this is the beginning of a very long journey as well. Be any parting words for our audience?
Yes, I have a lot of parting words.
I know, right?
Yeah, I just want to remind all of you, do not be afraid to reach out, right? Do not wait for an open vacancy before connecting with me, right? Connection is free anyway. So, reach out to me, reach out to my Singapore team as well. Like I said, talent pipelining is so important to us. Definitely, please do that.
Yay, wonderful. Okay, let's see any more. Okay, very nice. Thank you again. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for your personal sharing as well. So all the best to everyone, and I wish you a great, great, fruitful week ahead. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Cheers. Thanks for all the thanks in the chat too. Thank you. Bye.